Still figuring out the technology. All right, so we're going to start today by coming into a constructive rest, coming onto your back, or maybe you can have a pillow behind you for a little extra angle up, or maybe some blocks and a pillow. We're coming onto your back in some version. Maybe the feet flat on the floor with the knees pointing towards the ceiling. They could even come into touch towards each other. Or if this doesn't feel comfortable today, just finding a comfortable, easeful position for you today. As we settle in here, we want to tuck the chin to lengthen through the back of the neck. I invite you to close your eyes, or maybe to simply soften your gaze. And we'll start to slow our breath down, letting it become a little longer, a little slower, and more intentional with each cycle. We'll take just this first moment here to scan the body, seeing if any aches or pains, any energies or sensations are jumping out at us in this moment. Not to offer them judgment or shame, but simply to bring our awareness to them, so that throughout our practice, we can be mindful of those energies, sensations, or tweaks and twinges. And as we come together in this sacred space, let us take this moment to connect with our breath, grounding ourselves and beginning to embrace the present moment. This week, we celebrated the spirit of independence and freedom that this July holiday represents. It is a time when we reflect on the values of unity, of liberty, and even the pursuit of happiness. It is a day that we honor, a time that we honor the courage and vision of those who came before us, as they paved a way for a better future. In the practice of yoga, we too strive for personal freedom, for liberation, not only in the physical sense, but also in the realm of our minds and our spirits. Yoga teaches us to cultivate inner strength, resilience, and the ability to let go of that which no longer serves us. As we flow through our practice today, let us be mindful of the freedom we have to move, to breathe, and to express ourselves. Let us be grateful for the bodies we inhabit and the opportunity to nourish them through our self-care. May this session be a reminder that we are all interconnected, and that our actions and intentions have a ripple effect and extend far beyond ourselves. Let us embody compassion, kindness, and respect, not only towards ourselves, but also towards one another, fostering an environment of love and acceptance. I invite you to set an intention for today's practice. Perhaps it is to cultivate strength or find balance. or simply to let go and embrace the present moment. Whatever it may be, hold this intention close to your heart throughout our time together tonight. And as we begin to move mindfully in a moment, breathing deeply and embracing the freedom that comes with each inhale and exhale. And as we flow together, may we find joy, peace, or maybe even a deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us. We'll take a moment to focus in on our breath once again as we take a square breath, breathing in for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pausing at the top for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. And pausing at the bottom for 4, 3, 2, 1. I teach a kids class, and in this kids class, we call this breath the marching band breath. And I can kind of hear the tap, tap, tap of the marching drum as I breathe in, counting to 4, pausing for a count of 4, exhaling for a count of 4, pausing for a count of 4. Continue this marching band breath or square breath for just a few more cycles. As we try to honor the spirit of independence, freedom, and the power of yoga to transform and uplift our lives in our practice today. We'll go ahead and release that marching band breath, a square breath, bringing our breath back to its natural function, its natural flow. And then take this last moment just to offer yourselves a little bit of gratitude for taking time out of your busy night to find some gentle movements. And then as you're ready, start to wiggle fingers and toes, flutter your eyes open, start to move through the back of the head and neck, just a couple times left to right. And then bring your knees in. You can hold them with your hands or even your strap around your knees. As you take just a few rocks, either left to right or along the spine, starting to kind of wake everything up, warm everything up. Say good evening, how are you? And then let's come into a shoelace pose on our back. So we're going to take our right leg and we're going to cross it over our left leg. Now you can hold your knees and bring your knees in towards your chest. You can maybe grab around the feet or the ankles if that's available for you. You could maybe even stack the legs if that's available for you. Or you could even just take your strap around the knees, hugging them down towards the outside of the body. So we take our shoelace pose. Maybe if you're using a strap, bring it to the outside of the feet. Really helping to cinch those in just a little bit. Or again, if you're crossing it around the knees, maybe you're holding on the feet or the ankles a little bit wider. All right, let's uncross and cross left leg over right. And again, you're either crossing at ankles, you're crossing at knees, you're grabbing opposite leg, opposite knee, opposite foot, or maybe a strap. Try to draw those heels down towards your body, your knees towards the outside. Noticing how that feels through the hips. Great job. All right, we'll take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Noticing if the chin is tucked just enough to lengthen the back of this neck. And then let's release that, coming back into our constructive rest. We'll take the right ankle across to a figure 4, letting the knee fall out to the side. You can keep that left foot down, or maybe begin to lift it up and draw your arms around your shin, or maybe your strap around your shin, or not shin, your thigh. You could do your shin as well. I've seen it done that way. And that can be quite nice as well. So it's really up to you what feels good here. Flex through both feet. Draw your shin towards your torso. Great job. If your left leg is lifted in any fashion, it could be up towards the ceiling or bent. Go ahead and bring it down towards the floor, releasing the pose. And then let's switch sides. So bringing the left ankle over, either keeping right foot down or beginning to lift it, holding anywhere along the right leg, the right shin, or a strap. The foot could be on the ground, could be bent like 90 degrees, even pointed up towards the ceiling, but keeping both feet flexed no matter which variation you're choosing. Great job. With our next exhale, let's release the right foot to the floor and release your bind. And we're going to come up to an easy, comfortable seated position, getting there in your time, in your way. You can sit on the floor in a crisscross applesauce. You could maybe bring a prop under your hips for a little more balance there. If it doesn't feel good to keep the knees crossed, you can always send them out long here as well. We're going to be here for just a few moments, and let's inhale. Start to take those arms up out to the side and then overhead, feeling that length through the back of the body, through the torso as you reach up towards the ceiling. And then with our exhale, let's bring our hands down behind us, either to the floor, or you could even have a prop that you're pressing into, but press your hands into the ground or the prop as you begin to open the heart up and maybe even lift the chin and start to squeeze those shoulder blades behind you in this camel variation. Great job. Now we're going to take our chin and take it over towards our right shoulder. And then with your exhale, take your chin over towards your left shoulder. And then take just a couple of breaths left to right, noticing the movement through the neck. And then come back through center and see how high you can lift your chin up towards the ceiling. A little bit of the dumping the head behind you. And then with your exhale, draw the chin down towards your chest, noticing how that feels through the back of the shoulders and the neck. And then take that at your own pace, inhaling to lift your chin, exhaling to lower the chin. Inhaling to open, exhaling to close. Great job. One more time. Come back through center. Inhale to press into your hands, coming back to your straight spine. And then let's come on over into a tabletop. We're going to be here just for a few moments. So if you'd like to add some cushioning under the knees, you are more than welcome to do that. We'll bring the hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. And then let's take a couple of cat-cows, moving through our spine here as we start to notice how a little bit bigger movement feels throughout our body. We inhale as we arch the spine. We exhale as we dip the belly towards the mat. And as we take just a few moments of breath here, you're always welcome to exercise that independence and start to move authentically, however feels good for you in this moment. A little bit of yogi exploration of child's pose. You're more than welcome to take some barrel rolls with the torso in one direction or the other. Maybe looking over shoulders, back at heels. Maybe just taking big circles through the wrist would feel good today. And taking any movement here for just a few more breaths. Alrighty, we're going to come back through our tabletop for just a moment. We're going to push our weight into our hands. We're going to tuck our toes and then start to lift the knees a little or a lot to hover off the mat just a little bit. We're really just charging up our core and abdominals here. At any point you need to bring your knees back down, feel free to do so. We're going to hold this for another 3, 2, and on the 1, lower knees back to the ground, untuck the toes. Go ahead and flop the feet around a little bit. And then as we inhale, we're going to come into a hero's pose. So you can either tuck those toes up again or untuck them, maybe bring a prop, but we're going to sit back on our hips towards heels, toes tucked or untucked in our hero's pose of choice. Now, if you are familiar with a different variation of heroes that you would like to take, feel free to always do what feels right in your body at that moment. And if tucking your toes starts to feel a little intense, come out of it at any point. All right, from our hero's pose, we're going to send those arms out wide again. We're going to inhale to open them up overhead. Exhale to bring them back down through center. And then let's bring the right hand across the torso. We're going to bend the elbow and reach the hand towards our shoulder. Now it can be on the shoulder or even further down the back, but begin with the left hand, nudging the elbow, and feel as you stretch out through that right shoulder. And take a couple of breaths. Inhale to open wide. Then take that same arm up overhead, feed it down the back, grab the hand, the wrist, or the elbow. As you feed the elbow up towards the ceiling in your cow face pose. Beautiful job. Inhale to open it wide. Exhale, left arm comes across, bend in the elbow to take the hand to the shoulder, and then nudge that elbow back. Beautiful job. Inhale to open up. Exhale, left arm comes down the spine. Left elbow towards the ceiling. Holding with the right hand. Keeping the spine straight. Exhaling to release. Beautiful job. Well, next inhale opens arms up. And exhale, bring it down through a prayer. Take a moment with your eyes closed to come back into that intention that you set for today's class. Keeping it close to your heart as we move today. Exhale to release. Inhale. We're going to go ahead and find our way into a standing position. We come into our mountain pose at the top of our mat, or really anywhere in our space that feels comfortable. We're standing up tall with a gentle bend in our knees. And with our next inhale, let's circle the hands up, reaching up tall. And with an exhale, we can hinge from the hips, coming into a forward fold. As always, hands can come onto our lap, can come onto our legs at any point, maybe down to a prop or the floor. And then keep a nice gentle bend in the knees here, especially for this first one. Now you can keep your hands where they are, or maybe grab opposite elbows. As we take a little ragdoll here, we invite some bending to the knees, some swaying of the hips, maybe some movement through the head. Great, and then come back through center, releasing hands back to their previous location. We inhale the halfway lift, we come into that figure 7. Exhale to hinge, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. With this halfway lift, we're going to take the right foot out. We're going to bring the foot in front of us and peel the toes up as we straighten through the leg, feeling a nice stretch, maybe through the back of the calf. And you can keep your hands right where they are, or maybe start to walk them outside of that right foot. You can keep them on your prop, keep it on your leg or your foot or anywhere up to your hip. That feels good as we take this crossbody, forward fold, twist. Great job. All right, come back through center, halfway lift, step the right foot back, take any movement your body needs. When you're ready, left heel comes forward, toes peel up. Then we start to walk the hands outside of the left foot. Or over to the left leg. Great job. Exhale to come back through center. Inhale, take a slow roll, coming all the way up to standing. When your arms reach up overhead, pause there for just a moment. We're going to take the right wrist and circling it with the left fingertips, and then start to lean over towards the left. Inhale back through center, switching your grip, and then lean over to the right. Back through center, exhale down through a prayer. Alrighty, we're going to work on a little bit of a balance challenge. You can always stay in the center of your space, or if you want something close by for a little more stability, always welcome to that as well. For your most challenge, bring your hands to a prayer at your heart. For a little more stability, bring them to your hands to your hips, or again, onto a prop. So we're going to start by bringing our weight forward into our toes. You can keep your heels down, or you maybe even lift them just a little bit, and then sink your weight back onto the heels. Same thing with the toes and ball of the foot. They can lift up or just kind of barely have any weight in them. And then start to get a little movement forward and back, like you're rocking a boat. Forward and back. Maybe some bones are cracking here. Maybe you're noticing a little tension from the hiking this week. Take just a moment. All right, go ahead and pause. We're going to take that same rocking motion, but go left to right now. Rocking through the ankles. Noticing how that feels. Alrighty. This one is always hard to describe, but we're basically moving around the perimeter of our feet as we move through our hips, our knees, our ankles, and we go in, for lack of a better description, a circular motion. And then switch it up and take them the other way. All right, go ahead and come back through center. Take any movement you might need in this moment. And we're going to find our way into a downward dog variation, either on the floor or using a prop like your wall or a dresser nearby. So wherever you're at in your downward dog, your hands are about shoulder distance apart. Your hips are pulled back. Your heels can be up or down. Press into the hands to really lengthen the spine and the hips back. And then let's take a few moments to pedal through the legs. Notice how that feels. Alrighty, we're going to take 3 breaths here. And on that last breath, I want you to start to find some stillness.
Inhale deeply, and with an exhale, maybe you let out a little bit of a sigh and soften in. 2 more just like that. Inhale. Exhale with a sigh. Last one, great big inhale. Exhale with a sigh, settling into stillness. And then we're going to play with our downward dog just a little bit. So know that at any point your wrists start to feel like this is intense, you can come down and then come back and join us as you're feeling appropriate and ready. We're going to start by taking our right foot behind us, sliding those toes back or up, coming into a 3-legged dog. And then let's take some ankle circles in one direction and then the other. Great job. Feel free to bring the foot back down for just a moment if you need to or would like to. Here, and then we'll all inhale to bring that foot back out, 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, open that hip, stacking those hips. And then see about taking a circle with that knee in one direction and then the other. Great job. Come back into your downward dog. And then using the same knee, we want to curl it in towards our chest and feel a little bit of a constriction through our abs. Great job. Set it down, downward dog. Take any movement you need. Maybe come down into a child's pose for a quick moment. And then when we're ready, we come back into downward dog. We inhale to slide those left toes back, maybe lifting them off the mat a little or a lot. Taking those ankle circles in one direction and then the other. Release to downward dog. Reset. Take a break up the wrist if you need to. And then when you're ready, inhale, 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip. Stack them up. And start to take those circles with the knee. And then reverse those circles. Exhale to release, downward dog. Same knee curls in towards your chest, giving some rounding. Beautiful job. Downward dog. And then we're going to find our way back into our standing mountain. Getting there in our own time, in our own way. All righty. We're going to come into our mountain and let's bring our right foot out to the right side of our mat and begin to point the toes at a bit of an angle out towards the right. And then take your left foot and step it way back as we come into a high lizard lunge. We feel a little bit of an external rotation of that knee pointing out towards the right, but we keep our hips in line with that original placement. Now we can have a little bend into that back knee. You can have your heel down if that feels more stable for you and have the stance a little shorter, or you could go back longer. And you can always bring it down onto the knee and add some cushioning as well, if that feels best for you. All right, beautiful lizard lunge here. Maybe bring your hands to your hips. Maybe bring them to a prayer. Maybe have one on a wall for support, or maybe lift both overhead. Beautiful lizard lunge. Let's find a twist towards our bent front knee and take the arms wide, or you could bring one down to the front knee. With our next inhale, come back through center. And then we're gonna keep our legs in the same placement, but begin to open your left hand, the same one as the back leg, into a twist. Now, again, you can keep your front hand out, or you can bring it to the inner leg to help with your twist open. Great job. Bring it back through center. With our exhale, we're going to drop our hand either to our front leg, to a prop, or to the floor. As we straighten that front leg out, extend our spine long, and then begin to hinge over that front leg in a runner's lunge, or if we're on the mat, a half runner's lunge. All right, we'll take one more breath here. Inhale to come back into your high lunge, and then step the back leg in. Great job. Let's take that on the second side. So this time the left foot comes out to the left, toes angled out just a little bit for our lizard lunge. We step the right foot back. Again, always welcome to bring that knee down, have a shorter stance. The heel can be down, but we want a little bit of a sideways angle for that front hip, a little bit of an opening in that groin area as we're actively pulling our thigh muscles towards each other and then up towards our torso, making it very active in our lower body. All right, same as before, hands on hips, hands in prayer, or maybe hands overhead. Exhale to twist it towards your front leg. Again, hands wide to a T, or maybe one on the front knee. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, twist it to the left, just through the torso. Inhale through center, straightening both legs. Exhale, find your hinge over that front lengthened leg. Now, if you're noticing it strongly in the ligament of the knee, just bring a gentle bend into that knee. Great job. With our next inhale, let's come up to a straight spine. Back into our high lunge. And then step it into your mountain pose. Great job. All right, coming through center, maybe unmoving any props that you don't need out of your way. We're going to come into a little bit of a balance challenge for this next sequence of moves. And you may either want your strap nearby. Another option could be a prop like your block, or even something nearby like a chair or a bed or something could be a great option for this pose to help us with our balance challenge. So this is a big toe pose. We're going to come into our mountain pose to start. Once we're ready, we'll shift to our left side and start to lift those right toes off the mat a little or a lot. Try to get your balance here and finding a spot on the floor that's not moving. Your hands can be on your hips or maybe a prayer, maybe a wall nearby. You're doing great. All right, go ahead and bring that same foot down to the mat. We're going to use that same foot this time, maybe either capturing it with our strap or using one of the many props we just talked about. Begin to lengthen our leg out in front of us. So a strap is always a great option. You could have it on a chair, bed, or another prop. Again, still maybe using the strap or not, or even something a little lower or something a little higher, depending on how your body is feeling today. Now, just like any other time, standing poses are bent, standing knee is bent, and this extended leg can have a little bend or be straight, just depends on what feels better in your body. You're doing great in your big toed pose. Now you can either keep a straight spine Or maybe begin to see what it feels like to hinge over that leg. Going a little bit deeper into your big toe pose. Great job. With our inhale, come back to a straight spine, and then release your leg to the ground. Take any movement you might need, notice, maybe even close your eyes and notice the difference between your right and left side in this moment. Maybe you feel an energy difference, maybe a stretched difference. Maybe there's no difference and it feels neutral. All right, when you're ready, open your eyes. Shift your weight over to the right. Begin to lift that left knee, finding your spot on the floor that's not moving. Starting to feel this balance. You got it. All right, exhale, bring that foot back down to the ground. And when you're ready, we're gonna find our big toe pose and start to extend that leg out long in front of us using any props that we choose. Keeping bends in the knees, but a straight spine at first. You're doing great. Now you're always welcome to stay with the straight spine version and just simply work on your balance. Or if you'd like to go a little bit interestingly deep, maybe you start to hinge forward over that extended leg. Beautiful. Inhale to a straight spine. Exhale to release. Left leg back to the floor. Take any movement that your body wants. Alrighty, we're gonna set up to go from a downward dog into a pigeon. However, if downward dog and pigeon aren't your best friends, you're always welcome to switch it to a wall downward dog into a reclined figure four, like we started at the beginning of class. So we'll come into our downward dog variation of choice, either on the wall or on the floor. Take a moment to settle in there. We won't be here that long. We're just going to use it to transition into our pigeon pose. When you're ready, inhale, lift that right leg, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, bring it towards your chest, and then come into your pigeon pose. Right knee behind right wrist. Right foot behind left wrist on the other side of the mat. Now, as you're getting set up in your pigeon pose, as always, props are welcome anywhere that would feel supported. We're going to sit up tall through the spine here, just for this first moment, kind of like that back bend we opened class with, lifting our heart, maybe even lifting our chin. And then with an exhale, maybe you come into a resting pigeon, bringing your torso or elbows down towards a prop or the floor. And like I had mentioned, feel free to come into the reclined figure four if that feels like a better option for this pigeon variation. We're going to allow our breath to lengthen back into that 4-count square marching band breath. As we get into these restorative poses, this drumming in our head, and it can be a really great focus as we hold these poses. You're doing great. All right, one more breath here. Your exhale, see if you can soften and grow heavier. And then with our inhale, we press up onto hands. And we're going to find our way back to our downward dog, coming into it the same way you came into this, or finding any way that feels appropriate for your body. You can come into a tabletop and then come back into your downward dog, or whatever way feels good for you. We make our way back to our downward dog variation of choice. Inhale to lift left leg, three-legged dog. Exhale to bring knee to nose. Shift and come into your pigeon pose. Just dropping hips towards the floor. We're gonna sit up tall. We're gonna add any props we want to. Lifting the heart, lifting the chin. Beautiful pigeon pose. And then with our exhale, maybe lowering into your resting pigeon as we take just a few breaths here. Again, maybe they're the square breaths. Counting to 4, pausing for 4, exhaling for 4, pausing for 4. We're doing a beautiful job here. We are not going to go back into our downward dog as a way out of this. Instead, we're going to shift our weight over to our left hip, coming into a seated position, and then bring that back leg up in front of us. And if you were in on your back seated or figure 4, go ahead and come up into a seated position. We'll start by taking a Z-sit. So if you want to bring a prop under your hips, give you a little more flexibility here, that could be great. But our toes, our knees are in one direction, our feet are in another direction. One heel is tucked by the hip. All right, I want us to inhale our arms up and then take your fingers interlaced, bringing them behind your head, cradling your head. We're going to take that left elbow and then point it towards your right knee, crunching through the side body. Inhale to open it back up. Now you can keep both hands up, or maybe you bring your right hand down to the mat. And we'll take that crunching just about 3 more times on this side. Inhale to open it up. Exhale to crunch it down. Now that elbow will probably not come anywhere near the knee, and that is fine. The goal is to feel the contraction of the muscles, not to touch the elbow to the knee. All right, last time. Inhale to come through center, releasing both hands. And then let's take our feet over to the other direction. Coming back into our Z-sit. Sitting up tall. Inhale, maybe both hands up, cradle the head, interlace the fingers the opposite direction. And with our exhale, we hinge right elbow towards left knee. Inhale to bring it up, keeping both hands up or bringing left hand down by the floor. Crunch that right elbow towards your left knee, feeling those obliques. Crunching and twisting. Beautiful job. Last time. Great job. We'll come through center and we'll find our hero's pose for one last opportunity here. And again, maybe you have a block under those hips as you take your hero's pose. If you took them with tucked toes last time, go ahead and leave those toes untucked for this one. We're going to take a reclined hero's pose. So you are more than welcome to bring some props like blocks behind you to give you a little more height between the floor and your arms. You can also maybe come down onto elbows if that feels like it could be part of something your body would like to do right now. If you're feeling very hip flexible, you could take your heels to either side of your hip bones, letting your knees spread a little bit, and then sink the bum between those heels. Again, coming back onto hands, elbows, or maybe even lower if your body does that. Mine does not, so I'm not going to attempt because I don't know that I could get back up right now if I tried. We want to keep our head and gaze up towards the ceiling, maybe the eyes closed. Maybe we fall back into that 4-sided breath. Great job. If you came down onto elbows, go ahead and push back up onto hands. And then come back into your hero's pose. Great job. Alrighty, from there, we're gonna find a pillow, maybe a blanket rolled up. If you have a bolster, that's a great option. If you just have a bed pillow, you can kind of fold it in half. A couch pillow, you might be able to roll it a little bit, but it depends. Yoga mat, an extra yoga mat makes a great option, or even just rolling a blanket. So we have lots of different options to make a bolster, a round, skinny, like option for our home practice today. If we don't have an official bolster, we're going to bring it down the length of our spine. And you can always add a few blocks at different heights, if that would make this more comfortable for you. We're going to bring our hips up towards the prop of our choice. And then we're going to start to roll back over, taking a fish pose here. Your head can rest on the prop or even dangle off the edge of it. Your arms can open up wide. They can lay by your side. You could extend your legs long. You could come into a constructive rest with the knees, or maybe open them up wide in a butterfly. We're going to be here for a few extra extended breaths. So feel free to take any movements, any adjustments, so that you can start to relax here. Now, you're always welcome to stay in this pose for our final resting pose as well, but that would be a long time to hold this, so you may not want to do that. So we take this heart opener, we allow our chest to open as we feel our heartbeat. We'll take this one last moment with our intention that we set at the beginning of class, as we hold it close to our exposed heart. Doing a beautiful job today. Now, like I said, maybe you are ready to be done and just stay in this position for the remainder of class, and you are welcome to do that. But if you'd like to come out of fish pose, you have a butterfly, bring the knees together, and then find your way out of fish pose. You can roll to one side, you can sit up, you can do whatever feels the best for you so that you can move your props out of your way. Unless you want to keep them there. Again, you're welcome to keep them there. And then we'll roll back onto our backs. And let's do a windshield wiper here, letting the knees fall left to right a couple of times. Rolling through the hips. Come back through center. As we inhale, we're going to come into a upside down tabletop with a 90-degree bend in our knees, bringing our hands up above our torso. And then with our exhale, send the legs long and the arms long, and then bring it back to tabletop. Do this about 3 or 4 times. Our last push of our abdominals. You don't have to extend the legs long. You can keep a bend in them. Just feel the contraction of those lower abdominal muscles as you take this pose. Great job. All right, come down into your constructive rest. Windshield wiper the knees one more time to the right. Pause. You can keep them stacked or you can stagger them. You can take a bind or add a pillow. Inhale to windshield wiper the knees to the left. Stacked or staggered, taking a bind or not. And finally coming back through center. We'll start to settle into our final resting pose, adding any props, pillows, blankets, sweaters, maybe something to cover your eyes or something to place on your belly to add a little added weight. Whatever position we come into, we want it to feel like rest for us. Sometimes rest for us isn't even stillness, but coming into whatever restful position looks like for you. Maybe you close your eyes, or maybe you simply soften your gaze, but you make any final movements so that you can completely and totally start to relax on command. Begin to let your eyelids soften and relax the corners of your eyes. Let the brow begin to unfurl and allow your jaw to release so even your tongue can soften. And then begin to feel your whole body finding relaxation as you maybe allow your breath to become effortless and smooth. We'll end today's practice on a guided meditation of sharing independence. As we settle into this present moment and we bring our attention to our breath, begin to feel the gentle rhythm of your inhalation and your exhalation, allowing each breath to anchor you here and now. With each breath, you are becoming more present and more centered. Now we'll start by letting our mind conjure an image of the American flag, gently waving in a breeze against a clear blue sky. Noticing the vibrant colors and the hopeful sense of freedom it represents. We take this moment to acknowledge the significance of the celebrating of this time of year and the concepts of independence. We reflect on the idea that independence is not just an individual state, but also a collective experience. It is about sharing and honoring the freedom that we enjoy as a society. And as you delve deeper into this meditation, let us explore how we can share and nurture independence together. We'll begin to visualize ourselves standing in a peaceful park, surrounded by people from diverse backgrounds. Notice the various ages, ethnicities, and beliefs present. Maybe even sense a unity and appreciation for the rich tapestry of humanity. Take this moment to connect with the feeling of independence within yourself. Can you feel the power and strength that arises from knowing you have the freedom to express yourself, pursue your dreams, and live your life completely authentically? Now expand the sense of independence beyond yourself. Maybe imagine a network of threads connecting each person in your peaceful park. symbolizing the interdependence and interconnectedness of our lives. We recognize that by sharing our independence, we strengthen the bonds that hold us together as a society. As we continue to breathe deeply, begin to imagine a warm light flowing from your heart center. This light represents the qualities of compassion, of empathy, and understanding. See the light as it radiates outward and begins to wrap the people in your peaceful park around you. With each breath, maybe it extends the light even further, embracing the entire community or nation or even the world. As you sense the power of unity and the pursuit of freedom and shared independence, as we bring to mind that intention for shared independence, it could be a simple act of kindness, a commitment to supporting the well-being of others, or an effort to foster inclusivity and equality. Maybe allow your intention to fill your heart and mind. Take a moment to affirm this intention, even repeating it silently to yourself. Feel it resonate within you and send that intention out into the world. As we recognize that by sharing independence, we contribute to a more harmonious, and just society. We'll take just a few moments to express gratitude for the independence and freedoms that we enjoy. Maybe even feel a deep sense of appreciation for the individuals who have fought and continue to fight for these ideals. As we remember, independence is not just a solitary experience, but a gift that grows when shared. May our actions and intentions bring about a more compassionate and interconnected world as we take the deepest breath of our day so far. Continue with this meditation for a little longer, or when you're ready, slowly begin to bring your awareness back into our surroundings. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Allow